Good morning. I don't know why I'm awake, but I am. Woke up early-ish, and can't get back to sleep, so it's time to do some actual work then, right? So we've been having some trouble recently with kind of one of our servers on EC2 not liking what's going on with it. So what I need to do is I need to write a monitoring agent for it, something that's going to run on the box, make sure that stuff is actually running properly. So what are we going to need to do? Well, we're going to need to write a tool here. Let's see, this is going to be our monitoring agent thing, and it needs to make sure that Apache is running and that we actually make a package here called site. Let's do wd bitey website monitor tool. So we'll go ahead and make that. We're going to write this in Java just because I have a lot of code that's already in Java to help with this sort of maintenance tasks and server stuff. So let's just get started. So what are we going to do? Basically, we're going to need to check if the things are running, and if they're not running, we're going to want to restart them. We're also going to want to print out some memory information because we've been having a little bit of trouble with it's basically the instances run out of memory, and we need to track down exactly what is causing all that problem, but it's probably something with crazy WordPress plugin bullshit, which is not my field of expertise, but we can always shim things out. So I'm just going to go ahead and write some stuff. So let's see. Let's make... We basically want 2 threads, which will be running. And each one of those threads is going to implement something. So what we want is, let's have the monitoring tool, and let's do monitors. And we'll just make 2 monitors. So we'll do wd wrong dojo. Let's see, service monitor. So we're going to make like a base class, which is going to be the thing that is actually running. And what this is going to do, implement runnable, and we're going to basically call our we're just gonna get all this stuff hooked up. Basically, the idea is that the monitors will run every so often. So what we want is, let's see, we want a name, and we want a sleep time, and we'll just have this thing sleep. So name equals name, and sleep time equals sleep time, and we're gonna have like this while and running. We will actually call our update loop. Alright, so we're going to have this sort of stuff. The thread utils. This is just wd thread. Does m sleep time. If m sleep time is greater than 0, do that. So have a protected string name, and we'll have a protected private int in sleep time. Alright, so while I'm running, we're going to have a private volatile boolean in running. That's going to be false, and we're going to have... Did I do anything with WD startable? Alright, so yeah, startable is something that we actually want to use for this. Basically made a class for handling thread stuff. And we can just mess with it. Called to start up this monitor. And this is called to shut down the monitor. So this thing is basically going to say like m running equals true, and we're going to have like a private volatile thread, m thread. So inside of our startup function, we just say like m thread equals new thread, and then we can start it up. So at override, what is it? What is the damn method? Is it like I completely forget. Yeah, it's the run method inside of the thread that I need to look for. Alright. It's been a while since I've been doing any Java code. And actually what we want to do is, this is not runnable. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done all this. We actually want to chunk this code straight inside of here and get rid of this run method. Alright. Yes, this is going to be an abstract class, and does this be, is it abstract? Yeah. This will be update, run exception, and this will be an abstract class here. Alright, so to shut down our thread, to start up our thread, basically it's like, thread, make the thread, and then thread.start. And then what we need to do in order to shut down, and for blocking, is basically set m running equals false, and if m thread does not equal null, then what you do is, let's let's see, we actually want to set this to null. Then we want to mthread.interrupt, and we want to if block. I think I've got wdthread.join. Yeah, I mean I wrapped a lot of the Java ridiculousness, and then just mthread equals null. So that'll deal with our startup. So this thing is something we can now run. So what we're going to make is we're going to make two monitors. We're going to make one for HTTPD and so WD. I guess it's a service monitor. I guess, yeah. Alright, so WD Linux service monitor. And all we're going to do is this is going to be a specialized version of this thing, which will basically monitor a service if it's running, and if it is running, if it's not running, it'll restart it and stuff like that. Alright, so we're going to have extends the WD service monitor. So let's add a constructor for this. We're basically going to say the string, we're going to do service, boolean, auto restart, and int check interval. So it's going to be super, we'll do linmon, and then we'll have the service. Sleep time is going to be the check interval, and we'll say auto restart equals auto restart. So pretty simple, nothing too crazy. And I don't write Java code like other people write Java code, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Private boolean and auto restart equals false. And so when we implement this method, basically what we want to do is we want to check if it's running and if it's, and then log it out. Alright, and we'll also want a boolean super, just do boolean sudo. So if we should attempt to run as super user. So whenever this thing runs, basically we want to make our command line. So why don't we just make our command line to start with? So if msudo our m command line, let's do like status command line, and our start command, stop command. Alright, so our status command line is going to be sudo service plus status. Start command will just be sudo service start, and restart command. Yeah, we'll have start, stop, and restart. And this is just a simple program, so we're not going to be going off the deep end with crazy town stuff. This will be the stop command. And if it's not sudo, then yeah, we'll just do, let's do some plus equals because we can. So we've got our commands, auto restart, all that sort of stuff. So what we're going to want to do is 1. Check if the service is running and log the result. 2. If the service is not running, attempt to start it. The other thing we could do is, yeah, why don't we actually make some functions here? So the public void, why don't we just do a boolean, is running, is service running, public boolean is start service, stop service, public boolean restart service. So we can make all these things, these functions real quick, and then we'll call them. Alright, and I think I'll also have a restart interval. So private, I guess I should have a long here. M restart interval equals -1. And the other thing will be like, if it's been long enough, restart the service. Alright, so let's see. I've got these command line utils that I've written. Let me see, where is it? So it's wd native command utils. Alright, so we've got stuff like run command Linux and run command. So we want just run command with the. Alright. It's going to be native command line utils dot run command, and we want to run the status command. We're going to get a wd command result. So basically, for if the service is running, is if result.moutput.contains is running, then we return true. Otherwise, we return false. And we're actually going to log it out. So slogger.info, and we're going to say the command status command returned, and a new line, and then result.moutput. /n and is not running. Alright. So starting the service. Alright, so we're going to run the start command. So if result.moutput.contains, okay. then we're going to return true. Otherwise, the command start command returned and is not running, and I guess it failed to start. Right, for starting the service, stopping the service. It's just going to be that stop command, and again, it's going to be OK that we're looking for in the command line. Stop. And what we're going to do for the we're actually going to run another command. We're going to check if the service is running after that. It's probably a better thing that we should do. It's like if it returns okay, then like we should actually do like if service is running, then return false, and we'll print out like slogger.info. Service was still running after stop command. And restart, restart should just pretty much do the same thing as start, to be honest. Alright, so if service is not running, let's say slogger.info, service failed to run after start command. And I probably should be also doing that, like printing out the name of this service. So for service, blah, the command, for service, blah, for service, blah. Alright, so if is service running, slogger.info, the service, mservice, the service, mservice is running. So boolean running equals is service running. Right. So if running, yeah, it's that. Otherwise, we'll just log logger.info, the service, and service is not running. Alright, so if not running and m auto restart, logger.info, attempting to start service to start the service in service. So we'll do if start service logger.info successfully started service in service. Otherwise, slogger.warn unable to start service. Alright, private long and last restart time equals -1L. Alright, so if im restart interval is greater than 0, then we have to do things. So last restart time is going to be whenever we call start service. Yeah, whenever we do this, whenever we make the class, we'll start that. So if system current time millis minus last restart time is greater than im restart interval, we'll say like slogger.info restarting service as it's been running for long dt equals this. And let's just call restart service on it. Slogger.info service and the service started. Service and service failed to restart. So I'll actually throw a warn in there. And this restart interval we're going to auto start should probably be configured on and should fix any problems that actually happen. Alright, so that is our service monitor thing, so we can actually start using this. All we have to do is make our two services that we have to deal with. So I'm just gonna private static final string array. We're just gonna get our services, and this is gonna be MySQLD and HTTP. So for strings, stir, and services, all we have to do is getting service monitor for stir wd linux service monitor equals new monitor. The service is going to be just stir, auto restart is true, check interval is going to be, let's do private static final long, check interval is going to be 15 seconds. So what is hours to? So I think it's like maybe every 12 hours. So 12 times 60 times 60 times 1000 will be our restart interval. Sudo is true on these for the service checks. And we just do monitor.start. So what is this getting upset about? What the check interval should be. I should probably change that to a long. Alright, so this should start up our service checks. It'll restart every 12 hours and all that sort of stuff. And it'll monitor MySQLD and HTTPD for us and log all the things if it's not running. So let's organize a little bit of this stuff. Throw this over there. And let's run our build script, build our jar file, and then we can shove it out on our instance and take a look if it actually works. Well, before we actually do this build, we're going to need to add this main here over here. Things for sites, yes. Main map.put, let's see, Bitey monitor. Like that. So I should be able to FTP out our service. So I've built this thing. Let's see, it's not in Gen, it's going to be inside of build. Runnables, WD Java utils, and let's see. We're going to want a new folder. We're going to call it, let's see, tools. And I'll just throw like a monitor in there. So let's see what exactly this is going to do for us. We want to run this thing, so it should be oops, yeah, it's well, that tool immediately did absolutely nothing. Let's see, what did I do? I started it up, but alright, yeah, alright. Successfully started up monitor. I have a system exit at the end of it. So it was joyfully murdering itself after it was finished. Well, let's retransfer this thing out there. Then maybe our tool will start running. I guess running sudo on the command line like that's not something that it likes to do. So let's just change this to not do sudo on it. Let's just do false on that, and we'll run it as the current user or whatever. We'll try that out. Alright, so we're seeing an error on line 111. Let's see. Status command. Start, restart, stop. Null service. Ah, I see. So we need to initialize these guys because they're getting initialized when you do a plus equal to null string. It's not liking that at all. So let's get that transferred and let's run it. So what exactly is this thing doing with this run command? Because it's not running the correct command. Oh, what it's gonna do? Run command Linux. I'm gonna do actual command use -c. It's gonna do null true true -1. So null true true -1. Alright, so basically this actual command is going to be bash dash c and then service MySQL b status. Okay, so the problem is quotes is what's going to be an issue. Alright, so that's easy enough. So our issue is that our command needs quotes around it. It's always something. Returned unexpected in a file while looking for matching blah. Huh, interesting. So, bash dash c. Well, if we use double quotes, does it work? It's always something like this. It's always easier to write the damn program than it is to run anything on the command line. It's always a frickin' challenge. End up just writing a frickin' batch file and running that instead half the time. It's just like, well, the batch file actually works. We're still getting an issue with it saying it's missing quotes. It's looking for a matching quote. So what is the command utils? Like, the command utils should be doing like this. Do we need another quote or something else going on? Well, I guess if we're missing a quote, maybe there's two quotes on this thing. Let's find out. And if that's not going to cooperate, then I will just have to maybe write a batch file or something and then run the batch file. So just transferring this thing out here. Let me see. Let's see. Unexpected end of file bash -c. Well, let's see if we can do something else. If instead of these guys writing out stuff like this, let's see. We just made a new file, we called it like status.shell. We just said service MySQL status. So what we actually want to do is we probably want to just write some service files out. So let's see, do I have inside of my file utils, do I have the Alright. So instead of doing this sort of stuff, what we're going to do is we're actually going to write out some batch files and call the batch files. So how we're going to do that is we're going to do wfileutils get exe pass will be like current directory wfileutils.ensure-dirs. We're going to make our working directory. We're basically just gonna make a temporary directory. So it's gonna be private string working directory is going to be this current directory, and then we're going to plus equal /temp on it. So we'll make sure that this thing exists, and then we're going to write out all of our batch files into it. So and all these are going to be like this. So we're going to do wfileutils.write to file, and there's going to be the stop command is going to be just like whatever. I guess maybe we should make the working directory based on the file. So we should do working dir plus /service. So working directory plus status.shell, and then we'll do the status command. Start, stop, restart. So this will be start, stop, restart. In the working directory, alright, we've got this. So and these status commands and all this other stuff, actually we're going to need to change these to run command, and we're going to have to call it inside of a specific directory. So it's going to be inside the working dir. Alright, I'll need these. And then let's just switch all these things up. So status command equals status dot shell, but I guess we could just get rid of these things down here. Instead of doing like status command, we just do, you know, status.shell. This will be start.shell. This will be stop.shell. This will be restart.shell. Alright, so when it starts up, it's going to going to create all these batch files, and then it's going to use them. Alright, so that should just work. So let's build it and throw it out there and see what it does. Java's command line access crap is just not very good. So pretty much what you have to fall back on a lot of the times is just like, write whatever logic you're actually going to run natively and whatever you're going to run it in, and then call it kind of directly. Like, call the shell script. Alright, so we got that built. Just throw this thing out there.